and further from the pond. Her journey was long, and during this time, she discovered a vast world beyond her little home. After a few days, she arrived at a dense forest. Once upon a time, in a small village, there lived an elderly woman who was very lonely. She didn't have any children, and her heart longed for a child. One day, while walking in a nearby forest, a beautiful fairy appeared before her and asked why she seemed so sad. The elderly woman shared her heart's desire, telling the fairy that her life lacked joy. With a kind smile, the fairy extended a magical seed to her and said, "Plant this seed in a little pot and wait. Soon you will see that joy will enter your life." The elderly woman gratefully took the seed and went back home filled with hope. At home, she planted the seed in the soil, watered it daily, and cared for it lovingly. A few days later, a beautiful flower blossomed, unlike any she had ever seen. One day, as she looked closely at the flower, she was astonished to see a tiny girl sitting inside the petals. This little girl was no bigger than a thumb, so the elderly woman lovingly named her Thumbelina. Thumbelina lived happily with the elderly woman. Her voice was as sweet as birdsong, and she would spend hours playing among the flowers, swinging on leaves, and enjoying her little world. The elderly woman even made her a tiny boat, which she used to float in a bowl of water. Thumbelina's life was filled with joy. One night, while Thumbelina was sound asleep, a mischievous toad came across her. He was captivated by her beauty and decided that Thumbelina would be the perfect bride for his son. Quietly, he picked Thumbelina from her bed and carried her to the edge of the pond. There, he showed her to his son and said, "Look, your bride. Your life will be so wonderful now." When Thumbelina woke up, she found herself sitting on a lily pad in the middle of the water. She was frightened and confused, but she didn't give up hope. A fish nearby saw her distress and decided to help her escape. The fish threw the stem of the lily pad and Thumbelina floated away, drifting further and further from the pond. Her journey was long, and during this time, she discovered a vast world beyond her little home. After a few days, she arrived at a dense forest, where she met a wise beetle who introduced her to that world of tiny creatures like herself. The beetle said, "You may be small, but the strength of your heart is great. You can face any challenge." He taught Thumbelina to never underestimate herself and to always follow her heart. A few days later, winter arrived, and Thumbelina began to feel the need of a warm place to stay. She came across a field mouse burrow and sought shelter there. The mouse welcomed her warmly and offered her a place to stay in return for her company and stories. Thumbelina shared her adventures with the mouse, who enjoyed her tales. But soon, the mouse's wealthy friend, a mole, took an interest in Thumbelina and insisted on marrying her. Thumbelina felt trapped by his proposal, as her heart longed for freedom. One night, a bird, a swallow, who had fallen ill due to the cold, appeared near the mouse home. Thumbelina took care of the swallow and helped him regain his strength. When spring arrived, the swallow was well enough to fly again, and he offered to take Thumbelina with him, high above in the open sky. Thumbelina eagerly agreed and experienced the joy of freedom as they flew together. While traveling on Swallow's back, Thumbelina reached a beautiful garden filled with colorful flowers and sweet fragrances. In this magical garden, she met a tiny prince who liked her, was small, and lived among the flowers. The prince was kind-hearted and understood Thumbelina's soul. He admired for her bravery and resilience, and Thumbelina too. Finally, Thumbelina found a place where she should live in happiness and love. She and the prince were married in a grand ceremony surrounded by the beauty of the garden, with flowers blooming and creatures of the forest celebrating with them. Thumbelina and the prince created a life filled with joy and companionship, surrounded by their friends and the wonders of nature. Moral of the story: no matter how small you are, if you have courage and faith in yourself, you can overcome any obstacle and reach your dreams. Thank you for watching Thumbelina's magical journey. We hope you enjoyed Thumbelina's grand adventure and learned the importance of courage and believing in yourself. If you loved this story, don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe to our channel for more exciting tales like this.